Hey there, welcome to Synth Seeker. My name's Luke. Short video. This is again about the push, believe it or not. I've got two things. I've got sort of a PSA I want to share with people, a little public service announcement, and then I have a question for the Ableton Max MPE developer community because I've got a puzzle I can't figure out. Let's talk about the PSA. When you're working with your push, you want to go through. You may or you may not, I would imagine most people do, want to go through and check every pad to make sure that it works well with pressure, pitch bend, and slide on all three axes. Because there have been reports that some of the pads aren't responding well. You probably want to check the knobs too, but I'll leave that as an exercise for other people to do. And the way you would check your pads is you throw a MIDI monitor device up in Ableton, and you basically pick an MPE, core library synth, and I've got one here. All right, and you go to every pad across all 64 pads and basically check its pitch bend, and you can watch the numbers change on the monitor. Check pressure, and then check slide. Right, so what I'm doing is I'm sliding up, I'm sliding over, and I'm checking pressure. And you want to do that for all of the pads. Now, it's up to you whether you choose to do that or not, but if you do run across a pad that's misbehaving, I found two that were weird. This one here and then this one down here. And I was a little annoyed. I was thinking like, oh, do I have to send this in? Do I have to put in a ticket? And I said, you know what, on a whim, let's consider the idea that maybe the pads need to be broken in. There's some manufacturing grit or something in there, or they're just, I don't know how the system handles that, what sort of algorithms and sensors it uses underneath the pads to check stuff. But these are meant to be, pretty well abused finger drumming wise and things like that. So I decided, let's try this. And what I ended up doing was basically doing like a, Mr. Miyagi wax on, wax off with some pressure across the whole pad. And then I did all the pads around it as well. And I did that for, just a good work through, not crazy pressure. I wasn't, bending the device or anything like that, but pretty firm pressure, just worked across the whole device, the whole pad, and then did all the ones around it as well. And that solved the problem. And I was like, maybe it's a thermal thing. The device gets hot. So I waited. I came back the next day, powered it up, and jumped on it immediately to test it before it could get too warm. And it's fine. That remedied the problem on all the pads in question. And when you're checking it, you just use the MIDI monitor device to validate it. So there's a PSA. If you've got a pad that's misbehaving as far as jumping a bit when you're doing any of the MPE gestures, try working it a bit. Try breaking it in, because mine's fine now. I'll let you know ongoing over time if that pad develops a problem or not, but it seems to be, it behaves exactly like the others. So that's a PSA for you guys. Here's the question, all right? If we jump over here, this is the Max for Live MIDI device template. This is the MIDI effects template, okay? It does nothing. It simply says, okay, MIDI data is going to come in, and then it routes it to the MIDI output, all right? So this is a template. You're supposed to build your stuff in here. Been using it for years. This is a device that I use. Trivially easy device. It just allows me to arbitrarily define a MIDI CC control. You type in the number, and then you have a knob to deal with, all right? And you can map this to the pushes knobs. So it lets me put a mod wheel. My number one use for that is putting a mod wheel up on the knobs at the top of the push, because I don't like using the slider for mod. Here's the problem, okay? Here's my MIDI monitor. You'll note the slide works, and my pitch is working. If I turn on this device, which does nothing other than route MIDI into MIDI out, slide stops working, pitch stops working, and slide doesn't register either. All right. If I turn this off, it goes back and works fine. All right. Now, This device has an MPE tag on it, right? Implying that it's MPE enabled. This device template that we're supposed to build with, it's been around for years, does not, all right? And I can't find a Max MIDI effect template that has the MPE tag on it. So I'm asking the community, hey, does it exist? How are we supposed to build these things? Now, what I can do, and I haven't tried, is going to a device that has the tag, opening it up, right? Unfreezing it and basically going through and deleting everything out. And then basically building my devices in this particular template. I haven't tried it yet. I'm going to be doing that shortly. But it feels a little hacky to do it that way. And I would think that Ableton would say, hey, by the way, your device template that we provide for you is MPE enabled, or this is how you MPE enable it. But there's nothing in the context menu. I'm not sure how to do it. So, hey, there's a question. If anyone knows a better way to do this other than hijacking one of the existing devices, which I don't know if that will actually work or not, but I'm going to try, let me know. All right. So that's it. I continue to explore. Enjoy your time if you have a push and it's not frustrating you. And if you're one of the people who I've seen in the comments, there are quite a few who are really unhappy because their expectations were not set appropriately. Hey man, sorry. If you bought in, either stick it out and see where it evolves, or, you got 30 days, send it back. I wish everyone well. I'm not trying to be tribal and say, oh, push is awesome and everyone needs one. It's very situational. Make sure that it matches what you need. And for everyone who's been in the comments who's like, oh yeah, you should totally go with the Akai Force or the MPC or something like that. That's cool. I'm not being tribal and saying those are not good devices. Those are excellent devices. But I'm drinking the Ableton Kool-Aid, right? I start my music using Ableton Note while I'm in bed, and I move it over to live, and then when I go to perform it, I'm going to be putting it on the push. So I'm pretty well in bed there. I drank all the Kool-Aid. So thanks for your suggestions, but yeah, the MPC and the Akai Force, they're just not really for me. Or Machine, the Native Instruments stuff. Those are good things, great tools. Go totally opt for them. But yeah, it's not for me. Appreciate it though. Thanks for everything, and we'll see you guys later. Okay, have a good one, and thanks for watching Synth Seeker. Have a good week.